Father Yermo High School is a private Catholic institution located near the Mexican border. For many years, the school has followed its mission of teaching young students to become more proficient in the English language. On the surface, it seems like any other school. However, for a while, many students and teachers report sightings of strange paranormal anomalies.
These sightings have been accumulated over the years as people have encountered the strange phenomenon at the school. These are their stories.
The year is 1920, and the Sisters of Sacred Heart of Jesus have established the Sacred Heart Orphanage. Sacred Heart Orphanage's primary mission was to care for the children who wouldn't be able to live in an exclusively English-speaking environment.
According to public record and testimony from the nuns currently working at Father Yermo, the orphanage ran perfectly fine for many years until its closing in 1954. The reason Sister Maria gave for the closure of the orphanage was that the government declared that the orphanage needed to renovate its buildings or risk losing the children. The sisters were unable to gain the required 60 acres of land and were forced to let go of the children. Those who spoke English were sent to St. Mary's, and those who could not and had no family they could be left with were let go.
Almost 100 years after the opening of Sacred Heart Orphanage, there have been numerous reports of sightings of a small child wandering the halls of Father Yermo High School.
We interviewed multiple witnesses of this phenomenon and gathered that the probable age of this child would be between 6 to 8 years old. She has also been described as dressing in a fully white gown covering her arms and neck. We interviewed Miss Guerrero, one of the staff members, about her experience.
La primera vez que a mí me pasó esto, yo estaba en el teacher lounge porque ya había terminado de todo y ya me iba y llegó la niña, ya nada más ella, porque ya tenía todo cerrado y entró hasta donde estaba yo, en el teacher lounge, me saludó, me pidió que le regalara agua. Yo empecé a ver, qué chiquita, dije, ¿con quién viene? Ya estuve buscando a ver con quién. Dije, ¿con quién llegó? No, solita, tiene como 6 o 7 años, vestida de blanco, muy bonito, traía un vestido muy bonito, de cuellito alto, y la manita. Y ya pues le di el agua y luego me dijo, bueno, dijo, ¿tú sola trabajas aquí? Y dije yo, no, hay otra persona, le dije que me ayude. Dijo, ¿pero tú sola trabajas aquí todo? Sí, le dije, este piso yo sola. Y dije yo, qué rara, porque me está haciendo estas preguntas de esta niña tan chiquita. Y luego ya me dice, bueno, me dice, ya me voy, ¿eh? Se va y sale la niña y yo me salí del teacher lounge al pasillo para mirar, a ver quién estaba esperando. Y dije, pues quién la está esperando, que está chiquita para andar solita. Y ya me fui a seguirla y ya ella se fue. por la puerta lateral de aquel lado y ya se salió, se fue por la banqueta y ya llegando a los laureles, de los que están ahí, ya no la volví a ver.
¿Y no se acuerda de cómo se veía como su cara o
Muy
algún
bonita
rastro?
su carita, muy bonita. Hasta le dije a la madre de esta Karina, le dije, mire, y ya platiqué, ¿verdad? Lo que me había pasado, le dije, está tan bonita la niña, le dije, que tiene cara de ángel. Y ya.
¿Y el vestido cómo lo teníamos? Me dijo que era de qué color el vestido.
Blanco, blanco, blanco.
Hasta el cuello, ¿no? No tenía moño.
Sí, tenía unos mollitos, pero eran también blancos los mollitos que llevaba en esta parte así de aquí. Pero aquí era blanco. Y la llevaba así hasta el cuello.
We also later spoke to her colleague, Miss Rodriguez, who gave us her experience with the child.
Cuando de repente oímos así, o sea, un sonido de llaves, como si alguien anduviera en el pasillo. Entonces pues nos volteamos a ver la señora Guerrero y yo, y ella se paró así luego y fue y se asomó y dijo, no hay nadie. Y luego dijo, ¿oyó lo mismo que yo? Le dije, ¿llaves? Dijo, sí. Le dije, sí, las oí. Y luego se fue porque pensaba que era alguna de las sisters. En ese entonces estaba Sister Karina. Sister Karina, y pues no encontró nadie, no había nadie. Ya, pues se sentó y a un lado mío me volteaba a ver. Y luego dije, pues quién sabe, ¿verdad? Sí, pues quién sabe. Y de rato oímos como si se cayeran de los pizarrones todos los papeles, así todo el ruido que hacen los papeles. Se para otra vez ahí sí ya ni me preguntó yo lo mismo que yo, se para otra vez. Pues no había nada.
Pero se cayeron los papeles.
No se cayeron los papeles, pero oímos eso también.
¿Es otra experiencia que le ha pasado en todos los años que has trabajado aquí? ¿O?
Es la única experiencia que a mí me ha tocado. No he oído más, no he visto, no. Es la única en 8 años que yo tengo.
Wow. Bueno, pues igual da miedo.
Lo único que sí se me hace raro, pues eran los piecitos que estaban ahí pintados.
¿Cuáles pies?
Unos pies así como de niño chiquito, de niña chiquita, como si los hubiera tenido así.
¿En dónde?
Castigado.
She later directed us towards the footprints that she mentioned in her testimony. She told us that they have attempted to remove them through many means to no avail. The footprints do in fact seem to fit the description of a younger child as described by people who claim to have seen it.
2 students who have chosen to remain anonymous describe their experiences with the ghost.
Okay, so basically, it was second period, and I had asked to go to the bathroom to get a drink of water. While I was drinking, I heard a voice behind me. When I turned around, there was this little girl there. She was dressed kind of old-timey. She told me that they were looking for me in the office. I thought, okay, thinking nothing of what she was wearing or why there was a little girl there, so I said thank you and I went to the office. When I'd got there, I had asked why they called me. They told me they didn't call me. I said, well, that was weird, because there was this little girl who told me you did call me. They acted all kind of like panicked. I never heard about it again until 4 years later when Mr. Rubalcaba told me that they looked back through the security and they found I was talking to no one.
In second period, I went to the restroom. It was clear that the bathroom was completely empty and all the windows were closed, so there's no draft. The door is very loud when it opens, so I could have heard if someone came in. I went into the restroom. All of a sudden, I could see the stall doors opening by themselves and suddenly slamming open and shut very violently. I got out of the stall to see if there had been anybody in there, but the doors were slamming by themselves, so I hurried up and ran out of there.
Another person who has shared their testimony with us is Mr. Rubalcaba, who not only shared his experience, but also supplied a list of other people who gave additional information about the orphanage.
He then mentioned how Sister Maria would be able to supply more information on the history of the orphanage. We managed to gain an audience with Sister Maria, who was more than happy to share the history of Sacred Heart Orphanage with us.
Yes.
It closed in 1954. Why did it close? Because the Department of Health in Texas decided that they wanted a more modern approach to orphanages. In fact, we were able to do that in Laredo, Texas. In Laredo, Texas, we have another orphanage, okay, a children's home. But that's the modern, and the modern is like this. You have a main building, you have an apartment here, large, with 30 bedrooms for boys, for little girls, for big girls. I mean, so you need 60 acres of land to do it. And the sisters over here didn't have the money to do that. They used to have the classical, old-fashioned, long dormitories where the children would sleep and things like that. And they told them that they had to put, a modern. Have you ever been in the diocese, in the pastoral center?
I don't think I have.
No, tampoco. Okay, that was an orphanage. That was an orphanage. And you're gonna see that whenever you go to the diocese, you're gonna see it. It is one building here, another building there, another building there. They were the ones who were able to have an orphanage over there, but they were some American sisters. It used to be called St. Mary's Orphanage. It belonged to the diocese. The diocese built it, but the sisters, some American sisters, would take care of it. But when the sisters couldn't continue having it, they closed the last orphanage that we had in El Paso. We have always needed a place like that in El Paso. And our sisters here had it since 1920 to 1954. Actually, 34 years, ¿verdad?
Well, 1920 was when the orphanage here opened, right?
Who?
1920 was when Sacred Heart opened.
The Sacred Heart opened.
Yeah.
Déjame que les enseño algo, guys. And probably you're gonna like this. I'm working on this. Mira, déjame, vamos a ponerlo, ¿ok? Mira lo que estoy haciendo. I'm writing. Porque las sisters van a cumplir. Mira. Se los voy a dar. Wait.
Yes.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sister Maria mentioned that Sister Cecilia would probably know more information about the orphanage and the children who lived there. When asked about the ghost, she denied its existence and claimed that those who believed in it were crazy. We managed to find Sister Cecilia in the library of Father Yermo Elementary. However, she informed us that she was unable to recall any information regarding the orphanage or its former residents. She instead stated that Mother Superior, Sister Yolanda, had an archive of historical documents which could possibly contain information about the orphanage and any notable events that might have taken place during its existence. When we mentioned the ghost to her, she simply laughed and said that there's no such thing. Leaving the library, we figured that if we could gain access to those records, we would be able to narrow down a list of possible identities for the ghost.
Arriving at the convent, we were received by Sister Yolanda, who told us that it would take a full day to find the files we were searching for.
A day later, we arrived at the convent to see Sister Yolanda again. She informed us that the records that we were searching for had been destroyed in a fire that occurred long ago. That same day, we went to the public library to see if they possessed any relevant information regarding the orphanage and the ghost. At first, we only found vague historical data that confirmed the main points of Sister Maria's testimony. However, we found an excerpt in a book called The History and the Mystery of the Rio Grande. It mentioned that there had been reports of a little girl appearing in the El Paso Zoo during the security guard's night shift. Intrigued by this, we managed to get a hold of a current employee at the zoo to tell us about this phenomenon.
Okay. So, yo nunca la he visto ni nada, pero en el restaurante que está más cerca de Father Yermo, o sea que está por los elefantes, según esto, hay una niña que ronda por ese restaurante y por esta zona, que una vez me dijeron, no sé si es cierto, que cuando Father Guillermo, o sea, hace mucho tiempo, que todavía ni siquiera el zoológico estaba construido o estaba en construcción o no sé, que de Father Guillermo un señor se llevó a una niña y que he raped her, like, right there in the restaurant, o, like, ahí, y pues que ahí, y, pues la niña se murió ahí, y pues que según esto, que la niña anda ahí, y que me han dicho a mí unos, mis supervisores, o quién, una ex supervisora que una vez que ella estaba ahí sola en un restaurante, ella escuchó que alguien abrió la puerta de enfrente, de que alguien entró y que se veían pasos y todo, pero cuando ella fue a ver, pues no había nadie. Entonces, pues quién sabe, luego dicen que a veces de repente se prenden las luces solas. Sí.
With this information, we had many questions to ask.
Could this ghost girl be related to the one who roams Father Yermo?
Could it be that there could be more ghosts that we aren't aware of?
Or could it be that the girl in Zoo and the girl in Father Yermo
Are one
and the same?